Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is our Game of Thrones Season 1 recap. Like I said, if you guys have been watching the exclusive content, that we do episode by episode reviews on the B.S.S members channel. So you can go watch that, sign up for Bankai tier, and you can watch our episodic reviews. But this is a season 1 recap. So this is a more full encompassing review of the entire season of Game of Thrones. And I thought everybody should be able to watch our recaps for this one. And season 1 out the way, I'm locked in. It's good. It's some good stuff so far. I'm very interested. Me and Miles have been watching it together, and I think two things are very true about this series so far. One, really great storytelling, really great world. Two, lot of pornography. Let's be very clear. They be naked. We got dicks flashing, all that crazy stuff. But season 1 out the books. How we feeling?
Uh, I'm equally as in love as I was before. The world, the politics, the characters. It just has the perfect blend of everything to keep anybody engaged. But like you said, all the nudeness. You don't like any of this other stuff. You want to see some naked chicks, some dudes, whatever you got going on, they got you. The weirder kinks, like the woman up there in the veil and her son, they got you. George R. Martin is like, hey, my story's for everybody. If you just want a story that can relate to you, promise you it's in here.
Nah, for sure. And honestly, they're both on the screen right now. They're on the screen right now. So I'm not gonna lie, these two scenes are wild. So the scene regarding the giant just showing up with this thing just flapping around out of nowhere. That just came out of nowhere. I was like, bro, what? dude, full ass. I'm like, why? Like, what purpose was the scene? I just didn't understand it. It reminded me of the Mashoko Tensei scene at the beginning of episode 1 where that girl was flicking her bean to her parents having sex. I'm like,
裸で何してるの言い訳が楽しみだぜ。
why? It just didn't they had no other purpose other than I'm gonna shock the hell out of you.
You're either gonna be horrified or amused.
The facts. But that was nothing in comparison to the scene with the child and the mother, bro. Oh my goodness. Like I've said this already, I'm gonna say it again. That is one of the wildest scenes I've ever seen live action. If when you take the full context of what is happening is a grown ass woman getting her tits sucked by like a 12-year-old boy. Like remove yourself from the TV show. Like if it was animation, it would be weird, but it's like whatever. They're animated characters. These
Right.
are real people.
Casted to do this.
100. Like someone had to sign an agreement. I'm okay with my son sucking a grown woman's tit on TV. That's
That's insane.
wild. Oh man, George R. R. Martin has king. Shout out South Park. They called him correctly.
Has to rally his men. So what does he do? He takes out his wiener.
He has kings.
For sure.
That was wild. But let's get back to the story. I think the first way we can start off. Our boy Ned Starks went through it, man. He
The
went
Starks
through
in
it.
general had it rough. Um, Ned is so weird because they establish him as all I don't want to say all knowing, but very wise, very honorable, strong willed man. I don't know if you're walking away with the same thing I walked away with. Bro, he fucked up at every turn to me. I don't think he made any right decision. Like none. Like he tried, um, but he never put his foot down hard enough when he needed to. Uh or he put his foot down over the wrong stuff. I feel like a lot of this could have been avoided if he made some better decisions.
I think that's fair to say. Honestly, like he was coerced to take this position by Robert. He didn't want to. He wanted to stay home with his kids and family. And I do think Ned, at the end of the day, in this current world, Robert explained it perfectly. Like this is not a world of like who's the strongest, which army is strongest. Now, this is the world of manipulation, of politics, all that stuff. And Ned kind of let himself fall victim to this current world that he honestly wasn't ready for.
For sure.
He was a good guy. Some of his decisions were the honorable ones, but are not the right ones in full context. Like, I mean, you're probably asking what decisions are you referring to, right? So probably the one of the big decisions was telling Cersei he knew was a big one
Horrible.
that he probably shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm
Yeah.
curious to see like, oh yeah, what you came out of like his worst decisions. So we'll kind of name some of them, and then we'll see how bad it really was.
So I think that was really, really high on the list. Him telling Cersei. But moving on, I think him bringing his daughters was a really, really bad decision. And then after he was first accosted and attacked, he had the opportunity to get them out, and he didn't get them out then either. And we kind of see with him now being gone, Arya's kind of, for lack of a better word, destitute. She's trying to travel back to the Wall in like this now war torn country, and then Sansa's directly under Joffrey. Like out of probably any of the kids, she probably has it the roughest. She's under a tyrannical king, um, with basically damn near infinite money, surrounded by a family who are also, they're lions, like metaphorically and literally. They are lions. They're all out for self. They want the world. They want it all, and they can do it. And they don't care who they trample in the first place. So that was really bad. On a grander level, I think Ned deciding to be Hand of the King and going in spite of his wife saying no. They had that conversation before they left. He really should have just stayed home. I think his wife knew better than anyone. He wasn't ready for this. Like he said, he's too stuck in the old ways. Back when they were all warriors, back when honor actually meant something. While it does show itself in some of the politics, the trials by combat, things like that, a lot of that stuff is just not respected. Like, you got to do what's best for the times. Um, I would say those three things are kind of like the crux of his character, where it's just like, now your family's paying for it because you're not here. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't get us wrong. Well, for me, at the very least, I don't think Ned's a bad character. I think Ned's a great character,
Me
actually.
too.
But at the end of the day, you failed.
Yeah.
You failed. Not only did Robert die, but you died. Your daughters got captured, and now a war's happening. Like, he failed. And since we're throwing out blame. Robert was a terrible king.
Or
He was so bad at his job. It's actually kind of like we feel for Ned. We got to remember Robert put all that shit on Ned's plate, and he kept on saying, "Oh, you're my friend. You're my friend." Hey, so much for being a friend, because you went out and died. You put a bunch of shit on Ned's plate, and then caused him to die.
yeah, literally. Days later, and for the same reasons too, though. Robert was a warrior and a drunk, but a warrior. He was meant and bred to fight, like Ned. And even though Robert kind of understood because he was the king, I guess he didn't understand the lengths that certain people were willing to go to vie for power.
Do we think Ned, if he was king instead, would have done a better job?
No, I think I think the decision making would have been a lot better, and obviously he was more coherent because he was a drunk. But I'm sure you can agree those Lannisters around him would have probably enacted probably the same thing on him as well. They just weren't willing to see what was in front of them.
Yeah, fair. I think Ned, like, he takes care of himself way better. He doesn't let himself go. He tries to stay coherent, stay ready. He's still a strong fighter compared to Robert, who kind of let himself go and all that stuff. But he probably would have been manipulated just as just as everybody else, just as Robert. So, nah, he probably would have been better. But I think for the most part, the same thing more than likely would have happened. And honestly, Robert probably let things go that Ned wouldn't have, which could have got himself killed a little bit sooner than Robert did. So yeah, that's a tough one. Moving over to like the children and stuff. Man, there's a lot of interesting characters. I think every single one of them shined in their own way, even the fake imaginary brother that doesn't exist. Um, I think all of them shine their own way in this story in season one. What you like to see, all of them got character development, weren't too focused on certain characters to the point where everybody else didn't get their shine. They all got their own individual stories. We got the King of the North, we got Jon Snow, Sansa. Disliked her at the beginning, but she's going through it. I feel for Sansa right now. Arya trying to be a warrior despite being a woman. Initially said, I didn't want to be a girl. Well, now you're not a girl. You know, now you have to pretend to be a boy. And then we got Bran being crippled because he loves to climb too much, but he's probably going to have a very interesting story with the Ravens, with the new slave girl, and with his imaginary brother that doesn't exist. I stand by that. Until proven otherwise, that boy does not exist.
People at home, he's talking about Rickon Stark. He thinks Rickon is a fake person.
Facts. He's not, doesn't exist. It's just fake in his head. That's what I'm going to stand by. But yeah, I thought all the kids are doing really good for so far in the story. For their doing good for like being good characters. That's
For sure. The only one I thought, at least I thought, lacked, and I still stand by it, Arya, other than wanting to be a fighter and everything, like I just feel like she's missing a little something. The most dynamic or the most fleshed out to me is Sansa. I think having her be around these kind of more sinister characters gets to see her thrown in a different sense of situations, being that she kind of idolized these people. So to see them kind of turn on her and see how she can, 1 second she's feeling strong, bold, powerful enough to talk back to Joffrey and get a one up on him, and then the other time she's like crippled with fear while somebody's getting their tongue chopped out. We get to see her just experience a wider range of things. But yeah, Arya, I love Arya and I've seen it, so I know what she becomes. So I love Arya. I'm gonna let y'all know I do love her. But at the beginning, I kind of just feel like she's, if anybody's thrown to the side other than Rickon, the imaginary friend, she's thrown to the side as well to me. It's just all about fighting and combat. And I like, as you guys will see, especially Iredell later throughout the story, she's so much more than that.
I can see that. I do think there's things to explore. Might as well let's throw it out there. Let's rank the kids right now, the Starks. Number one, say Jon Snow.
I agree.
Number two, King of the North.
I hate Rob.
You don't like Rob?
Mm.
I'm
Why do
caught.
you like Rob?
I mean, he's doing his best for like he had to take control of the Winterfell when Ned left, and then after everything that he heard, he wasn't doing anything crazy, but after everything went down, he decided to go in combat and he won in battle. He did something that nobody thought he would. He won in battle, defeated Jamie's squad of all people, and I mean, now I feel like season 2 is going to crash out crazy. That is what I think is about to happen. But for his victories, for his leadership, I think is there. So yeah, I think number 2 has to be King of the North. Who do you think number 2 should be?
Sansa.
Maybe
Not what they've done, but like as characters. I lied. I came at Arya. Rob don't got no development.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same guy.
He's
For
just
sure.
a clone of his pops.
Okay, so we talk about better overall character, like objectively in terms of their character, or how much we like them.
Now, if we do how much we like him, I still got him bottom, but it depends on you. What you want to do?
All right, let's do an overall better character. Let's get analytical with it. So I think overall we still say Jon Snow 1.
I still got Jon Snow 1, yeah.
Okay, number 2, I'd agree with Sansa. I'll agree with Sansa. Number 3,
As between Bronn or Rob.
it is. I'll say Rob. I think he just has more. even though he doesn't really develop much, he has way more things that he's done in the story that are very impactful. He's showing
Sure.
his leadership qualities, taking control after Ned to die, and he's showcasing to be a really good leader at the same time. Like his role in the story is just really impactful. Um, and sometimes people just like that resolute, strong, strategic, and ambitious leader like he. He got that fire.
Charismatic.
So,
Mhm.
yeah. So I'll go Rob 3.
4, Arya or Bronn?
I'll say Ron is doing a lot of interesting things right now,
Mhm.
but I don't think he gets the screen time. I'm gonna say Arya. I'm gonna say Arya.
Quick tangent. She's managing her father's death really well.
She's very mature.
Yeah.
She showcased that right from the start. To be honest, her like sometimes she would do like little pranks, but she's very mature for her age. She handles things very well. And we could tell she's kind of naturally skilled at a lot of things too, because she's a better archer than Braun.
Hmm. Way better.
Yeah, she got something in that toolbox, and she realized if she crashed out, she would have gotten herself killed.
For sure. Revealed herself.
And she almost did, to be fair. The Baylor had to stop her.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I'll say Arya, then Braun, and then the fake Stark kid.
Yeah,
That's
imagining.
I'm going. Moving away from the Starks, then we got what's going on across the ocean with Khaleesi, the dragons, the Dothraki, Dargo. That was an interesting part of the story while everything was kind of moving because they were a looming threat, but they were kind of always doing their own thing the entire time.
Yeah, they. Well, what I like about a story is obviously they have to be relevant later, but he took a good job of using season one to kind of sell it to us. Um, you walk in, you're like, these barbarians can't really be worth much, and then as the Khaleesi kind of integrates herself within their society and kind of like puts leadership uh behind them, like actual leadership, not just barbarianism, you get to see kind of how useful they become. How do you feel about that whole thing with Khaleesi and Drogo? Me watching it now, I think I'm a little bit more mature, so I'm accepting of it. But when I originally watched it, I couldn't conceive of like, yo, you're sold into a marriage. Like before you're taking your power back, he's doing what to you. How can you like grow to like love this? She loved him. She really did love him. So I just didn't see how you could grow to like love this man outside of a like let me use him for power, increase my own standing type of vibe.
Um, I thought obviously it was very a very not a comfortable situation, but the way I rationalized it is her situation before that was trash anyway, because her
Sure.
brother just kind of used her as a tool from what it seemed like, right? He would just he basically I don't know if he did anything like explicit to her, but I mean she was butt ass naked in front of him based off like a whim. Just say take off your clothes and she would do it. So she had a terrible life before that. Sold off, and at first, of course, everything sucks, everything's terrible. But sometimes you gotta shift your mind because at the end of the day, in this situation, you got more freedom. You're seen as a leader. You got respect. You um, and obviously you're kind of used as a meat puppet at night. But I mean, at that point, you got to make a situation what you will. And she realized that this guy wasn't really beating her. He wasn't disrespecting her. And then the day he did buy her, but that was the time of the period where you could just buy your wives, unfortunately.
For sure.
And she realized he was a good guy to her, not a good guy overall. To her, he was a good guy. So I could see it eventually. It's just one of those weird type of romances for sure. And then obviously she became super powerful. She overthrew her brother in terms of power very quickly. Shout out that brother getting the golden crown. He deserved it. But I could see it. I could see how this all makes sense. And considering her position and considering the time period, I thought it is what it is. And falling in love with him, it is what it is too. Because he would have done anything for her.
For sure.
So that's fine. But I didn't expect him to die so quickly. I thought he would have been in the series longer.
And it was weird too, because I agree with you. And because they casted Jason Momoa, I was like, Jason Momoa gotta be around for a while. And then I was like, 1 season? Wow.
Maybe Jason. To be fair, before Game of Thrones, did people really know him? I guess maybe. Because I feel like Aquaman came after Justice League came
It
after.
did. I think it did. Think.
Because this could have been the launching point of his career. So maybe he just wasn't.
True. Yeah, Justice League came out way after.
Yeah. So, like in hindsight, yeah, it's Jason Momoa, who's now a huge star. But he probably wasn't known much back then. But he, regardless if he was known or not, he still seemed like a very important character. Like he was a leader of the Dothraki. But he killed him off for Khaleesi character development, which I'm cool with. I'm not mad at it. I respect it. Shout out my boy though. It's tough. His death was also very unfortunate. He died because he got one little slash right here, and then that witch was doing some weird stuff. That's tough.
No, Riddell, don't give him credit. He's an idiot. The dude stabs him, and to kind of show that he was a badass, he pushed it further in while looking menacingly in his eyes, like, "Yeah, you thought that was gonna hurt me?" And it's like, bro, he fucking killed you, you dumbass. That was the dumbest way he could have possibly died.
I 100% agree. When I saw that, I was like, "There's no way this is gonna kill him. There's no way this is gonna kill him."
No.
I brought it. This is how I rationalize it. I feel like the witch was putting some weird stuff in his wound. That's what probably happened. Because there's no way you're that. I feel like you've probably done that millions of times. No way this one kills you. So I'm guessing she put some weird stuff in his wound that killed him. That's my guess. But shout out Khaleesi. She's a fantastic character right now. She had a lot of character development, starting from what she was to what she is now. Now she's leading her own faction, and now she has freaking dragons. We here. Shout out Khaleesi.
The dragons are scary, especially as you see how fast they mature and how fast they get. Do you think any of these little small dragons can cause damage, though?
For right now, I'm sure they only can give a little burns, but I'm guessing these dragons are probably going to grow really rapidly.
You're in for a treat.
Okay. I can't wait to see what she plans to do, because the thing is, although I don't think Khaleesi's a bad person at all, I do think Khaleesi's going to have to start becoming one of those type of leaders that will do whatever needs to be done. And I do think she said in her speech that if people come to harm my people, they're going to pay for it, which is what you should say as a leader. So I'm guessing there are the rumblings of the true leader of the Seven Kingdoms, Khaleesi with the dragons. That's going to make Joffrey shaking his boots. That's going to make him shaking his boots. How do they get across the water? We've yet to see, though. We shall see. Because he ain't selling those dragon eggs now.
Huh. Why do I got to sell them when I could just take over everything?
Fly. If they get big enough. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that stuff is fire. That Khaleesi stuff is fire to see her growth. And then we move over to the kingdom, where all the politics is going on. That's where the throne, the iconic throne, is at. And let's make it very clear. Joffrey is a POS. He's a piece of shit. But that actually makes him a good character, being so freaking evil. It makes him a very good foil that we can't wait to take out.
Yeah, he's one of those characters everybody loves to hate. He's a great character. He's one of the better characters, I think, in season 1.
It's interesting when it comes to Joffrey. I think the biggest moment, obviously, was that it made us think that Sansa convinced him to spare and give mercy to Ned's life. All that to just put it on its face, and then have Ned declare Joffrey as a true king, and then kill Ned. That's despicable.
It's despicable, but it's not even surprising. He's already shown us that he's willing to do whatever. It doesn't have to be for a righteous cause or even a cause that necessarily benefits him. He just wants to have fun, it looks like. He finds pleasure in all this stuff.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy when you think about Joffrey is actually not the legitimate heir to the throne at all. Like at all, he has no claim. Because he's not the son of Robert. He's the son of Jaime and Cersei. Ew, meaning that he's probably special in the head. You know what I'm saying a little special up here because of the incestual relationship. So that's going to be interesting to see. And of course, we got the Lannisters, Cersei, Jaime, who took the biggest L recently, and Tywin and Tyrion, and how they're also the Lords too, and how they're all going to navigate Joffrey's rule, which is going to be Mad King 2.0, basically.
Damn near. Especially when it seems like probably more than ever in the Game of Thrones world, this whole entire council seems like they're for themselves. We got Littlefinger who runs the brothel. He just wants Catelyn Stark. He wants Ned's wife. Looks like that's all he wants. We got Varys, who's saying that he kind of is just doing what's best for the sake of the realm. He tried to resonate with Ned. He's actually the one that told Ned to keep his mouth shut about that whole situation. Um, so it seems like there's just a lot of hands, even outside of the Lannisters, who are vying at power, having their own motivations. And it's kind of seeing. It's going to be weird to see how this already crumbling kingdom will navigate all of this stuff while there's apparently a real force in the north, real force in the north, and then what's going on over the ocean as well.
No, that's going to be so interesting to see how everything kind of falls together, because we didn't even really touch upon like the White Walkers and their presence in the story and what they're going to do if they cross the wall and make a threat. And I wonder, in a situation where they're all faced with each other, I feel like the biggest evil has to be the White Walkers.
For sure.
Right? There needs to be a joint unification to take out the White Walkers in particular. The thing is, obviously, Khaleesi is in charge of a bunch of savages, so they can be wild cards, but the biggest wild card at the end of the day is Joffrey and his selfishness. So that's going to be very interesting to see once the White Walkers play into, like, what does Joffrey really do? Does he play to his ego? Does he become selfish? Does he abandon his kingdom? That's going to be very interesting to see. Anything else? We should talk about Tyrion a little more. Tyrion's a fire character. It's great. It's great to see how everything that was going on between all these different factions, and Tyrion is just trying to survive. He's just trying to live his life, hook up with different whores and just, live his life. And he's building his own little faction too with those savages. I don't know if they're going to follow him though to the kingdom. And I don't know if Bronn, is that his name? Bronn?
Bronn.
I don't know if Bronn is going to follow him to the kingdom either.
You will. You want to know why?
Why? Oh, yeah. Money. He needs his protection.
That's the good thing about being a Lannister. At the bare minimum, you're going to have cash to spend.
Hey, man. I'm curious to see what Tyrion does. And also that girl that's next to him, she's shady. She got some ulterior motive. So
I think so, too. She's a little suspicious.
Yeah, a little bit. Her father, he can't say anything bad about her parents. Yeah, we're about to find out something about her. And yeah, Tyrion's fantastic, very charismatic, great talker. So I'm curious to see what he does when he joins the kingdom. But anything else?
What are you most excited for season 2?
Most excited for season 2, I would say I'm most excited for the growth of Jon Snow and what he figures out with the White Walkers. I think his character Because ultimately, my projection, because we were talking about it episode by episode, I said I wouldn't be surprised if Ned dies in season 1, and then I
Yeah.
think he died next episode. So I was like, damn, I didn't think it'd be that soon. Uh, and I'm also going to throw out there, I wouldn't be surprised if the current King of the North dies as well. So I think that Jon Snow has to be that extra the wild card. I think him and little boy Bran,
Mhm.
they all have like there's so many characters with so many similar names, like Bran, Braun. It's like,
Yeah.
bro. I think Bran is going to be very influential to that as well. But ultimately, there's no way I can see Robert, Jesus. There's no way I can see Rob beating Tywin or Joffrey. So I think Jon Snow eventually will be the one to defeat Joffrey. So seeing his character development will be the most interesting. Yeah. Anything else you got?
Let me think. Okay, I got two things.
Go for it.
We have the looming rumor, or not even a rumor, it's confirmed. Joffrey is Jaime's son.
Yeah.
How important do you think that this information will be in the following seasons? It seems like Ned kind of dispelled, those rumblings, but it's still a very real thing. Do you see it returning? Do you see it not mattering? How you feeling?
Definitely returning. This is a very pivotal plot point. And I wonder if Jamie knows. I feel like he should. He has blonde hair. But it's possible he couldn't. Who knows?
No, he knows.
Okay. That's
Remember,
important.
him and Kat had that conversation, and she was asking him why did he do all this.
I just alluded to him just hiding the relationship, but also hiding for a
Bro,
Joffrey too.
if you hitting it, come on,
Yeah, valid. Um, yeah, I think this is gonna come full circle because at the end of the day, it's gonna threaten Joffrey's rule. And then there's that interesting character, the blacksmith, Robert's actual son, having a claim to that throne. So I think that's gonna be huge for the story. I don't know if it's gonna culminate in season 2, but we will see regarding that one. Um, but yeah, that's. I could also see. I wonder if Sansa will find out. Oh, that would be very interesting to see if Sansa finds out down the line. But yeah, important for sure.
And then my next one, the Khaleesi still has that man next to her who we know is a mole. To Westeros.
Yeah,
When she finds out, because she has to find out, right? Do you think she keeps him around? Do you think she keeps him as a double agent herself? How do you think that little bit of interaction is going to happen when she does find out he's a mole?
I think I think he's falling in line. I think he's probably going to completely portray Westeros at this point now that he sees her with 3 dragons. Um, or not. Maybe I don't know. He's a weird one. Um, I feel like the best thing is to keep him around, and I think Khaleesi will. I think Khaleesi is becoming more and more wise as time goes by, and realizing having a direct connection to Westeros will be very valuable, as well as having someone as strong as him be very valuable as well, because she needs a warrior that could fight. So that's what I'm gonna stick with. He stays around, very important. The only thing I don't want, I'm not feeling any potential type of relationship between the two. So I hopefully they don't do any stuff like that because they kind of alluded to it with her brother saying, "Oh, you want my sister."
Yeah.
So I'm like, eh. And when she went for that kiss, I'm glad it was a kiss on the cheek, but hopefully he stuck with it, just being a kiss on the cheek. So that's
I
what I
walked
think
into it.
I want.
I felt the same way as you, where I was like, if it's an unrequited, I love her, but I'll never let her know, but I'll go above and beyond because of it. I was like, I'm cool. If they fucking start dating, I'm gonna be mad as hell. That's literally how I was feeling.
Yeah, I'll be mad as hell. That's not something I want to see at all. I feel like the fanship will eventually be though Khaleesi and Jon Snow down the line. I feel like that is the two favorite characters of the series. Eventually, they're going to meet. I mean, the writing's on the wall. Um, where they I honestly we should have put up a map because I'm curious to see where she is and where the wall is in comparison to each other.
Far.
Like, so is she on the other side of the wall?
No. So they're on the same side of the wall, but she's in a country called Bravos. So she's in a whole different country.
Okay.
And so much so that you remember the cows, the Drogos people, they're basically saying there's nothing across the water. It's just poison.
Okay.
So she would have to cross that ocean, and then once she's in Westeros at the port area, go all the way north, like beyond the wall to see him. So insanely far distance.
So it's like the difference between like, the United States is very far from like Europe, but we would all, in order for us to hit the wall, we'd all have to go up to the North Pole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I can see that. But yeah, that is our Game of Thrones season 1 recap review. If you guys want to tune in to see everything we say episode by episode, make sure you guys sign up for our members Bankai tier. That's where we drop the episode by episode reviews. They're just better to post on there because it doesn't really ruin the algorithm. We're not sure if people want to see us talk about episode by episode, but we know Game of Thrones is a very popular series and people like it. So talking about it from season 1 will be interesting. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to really want to hear our thoughts when we eventually hit the infamous Red Wedding and the infamous ending.
People, this man's talking about the Red Wedding, and that's in season 5. Take your time, Riddell.
I know. Hey, you know what? You know what's good about me is anytime I ever hear the term Red Wedding, I mute and leave the conversation.
Oh,
I do not want to be spoiled of the Red Wedding. I have no idea what happens.
Oh, you don't know. You don't know at all.
No, because I always avoid the
It's
conversation.
insane. So I said season 5. It's season 3. It's insane.
I have like a guess, but I avoided any and all spoilers for the Red Wedding. And we know we're putting this on the YouTube channel, and I do read comments. Please do not spoil the Red Wedding in the comments. Please do not do it. We honestly, I might not read comments just in case.
Don't read the comments.
Yeah, I might not read comments.
Because Riddell, especially with our motto being read your scriptures, please don't read the comment.
True. I mean, it's tough. It's like I do my best to ensure people are not spoiled for the Attack on Titan twist.
Yeah.
So do me the courtesy. But appreciate everybody. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Tune in. Don't know when season 2 recaps coming out. Just putting that out there. Sometimes it takes us a while to watch episodes. But stay tuned. We'll make a playlist so you guys can catch up everything as we go through it. With that said, you all have a good one. Take care. Peace.